Never stop learning because life never stop teaching. Welcome to Focus on Education on KG Flash with me, Ambassador Jimmy Josh. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Nairobi, Kenyatta, and from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monrovia, Liberia town. This program looks into the comparative analysis and appreciation of the education systems of Liberia, Kenya, Africa, and the rest of the world with my everyday guests. You are following us live on the KG Flash. I want to officially welcome you to the fifth edition of the program Focus on Education. Focus on Education is a program that comes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the KG online television. This program focuses on education. That's why we take our guests from different areas of studies so that they can look deeper into the experiences that they had. Today, our guest is Congressman Paul. Good morning.
Morning, morning.
So who is Paul?
Thank you so much, first of all, for inviting me. It's a pleasure. My name is Paul Atenya from Kenya. I'm a postgraduate at Kenyatta University, pursuing Masters of Arts, specializing in film studies. I'm currently in my final year, working on my thesis, and I'm also the congressperson at the KUSA, that is Kenyatta University Student Council, representing all the postgraduates, those doing masters in their PhD and post-diplomas. I represent them in the student council.
That's good. So what's the importance of your area of studies? You say film industry.
Okay. I also forgot to say I'm a teaching staff. I also teach filmmaking.
Okay.
So filmmaking, it's one of the things that, for me as an artist, it's something that I live for. I live for filmmaking. I would say I love filmmaking. I do filmmaking for life, and even for as a way of earning my maybe money. So I'm an award-winning film director. Before, I directed a film and it won so many awards for Kenyatta University. Actually, that's what gave me an opportunity to do my master's.
Okay.
It gave me a scholarship, and for doing that, it made me love film. I love acting, shooting, directing, writing scripts, editing, anything to do with film and media. I would say that is where my areas of interest lie. So I would say filmmaking is very important when it comes to telling stories, sharing experiences, and keeping history. Yeah, you want to keep a history of something or reference, filmmaking is one of the best things that you can apply to do that.
So do that all of those things that you have all learned.
Mhm.
Do those things have positive impact in modern development when it comes to national development?
Yeah, yeah, so much. Actually, currently in Kenya, filmmaking is like it's taking over. So
Wow.
many creative uh, content creators have come up, even those who have not gone to school. You just need to buy your phone. Nowadays, you don't need to buy a very expensive camera. If
Okay.
you have a very good phone, you just need to set it right, then speak. Just tap that button to record, then start doing your stuff. There are those who are doing comedy, there are those who are doing films. There are so many festivals that have come. So it's something that has taken over. Even businesses are now applying short clips to advertise their products. Education systems are also, because of Corona. When Corona came, film industry took over.
Sure.
You can just be in your house and you are teaching a lecturer. You are teaching the whole unit.
Okay.
Just turning your computer on or the camera, then you teach the whole thing. So it's something that is growing very fast currently. And those who are in school, they are doing very amazing stuff.
So how advanced is technology? Because technology is heavily linked to film
Okay,
in Kenya.
I would say it is one of the major factors that has led the film industry to improve, because before, to get a camera it was very hard, but nowadays to get a camera is very easy. If you have your 15,000, you can have a very good phone with a good camera. And
Phone for
phone,
15K.
yeah,
How about a camera?
a camera will need you like 300,000, a very good camera.
300,000.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean there are no cameras you can get with 40,000, 80,000, and 100, around 100,000. But a professional camera that you can walk out there, you shoot something that can compete maybe with Hollywood, and maybe not Hollywood, they use maybe some of the expensive cameras, but whatever they shoot at least can a little bit compare. So uh,
So
the,
the camera and for the digital camera and that of the phone camera, what's the advantage? Which one do you think that you can recommend to people involved into film industry?
I would say when you think about the camera, the first thing you think about is the functionality.
Okay.
What do I want to do with my camera? Of course, if you are shooting for corporate, you cannot go just with your phone. At least they might think, is this a professional or what?
Okay.
So, but if you're shooting your own stuff, things that don't have so many limitations, you can just use your phone. Yeah. So a camera has its advantages. It will set you as a professional, and again, the quality, it will be a very good quality. So that's in that terms, then you can know the advantages and disadvantages of a camera, a phone vis-a-vis the camera, digital camera.
You spoke about the advancement of technology in Kenya, and you talk about the film industry, how it's taking over many young people or elderly people in Kenya.
Yeah.
Now the question now is, you are a congressperson at the Kenyatta University, and you also lecture at the film industry department. How qualified is the department?
Uh,
Is the department attractive?
very.
How is the enrollment for students? Are most students or Kenyans are expressing interest? How many non-Kenyan do you think are expressing interest also to attend?
That's a very good question. For Kenyans, there are so many students that we have there. Every semester we have like more than 500 students. And there are also international students. We have had students from South Sudan, students from Nigeria, Congo, students from Tanzania coming to do film industry in Kenya. And that sets a very good, maybe preset or precedent for other countries, so that our film industry is attracting even people from outside, because it's one of the best. Actually, is this film in degree, it's only offered in Kenyatta University as one of the. I think Kenyatta University was one of the best ranks first when it comes to filmmaking. Even other universities that offer the same degree, you find that the lecturers are product of Kenyatta University. Yeah, go to.
So how old is the department? When was the department established?
It was established in 2008,
Okay.
so you can guess how long it
So
is
you
now as
think
well.
that one can enroll to earn a PhD at the university at the
Yeah,
department?
yeah. You have certificate, diploma, degree, masters, and PhD. It's a full course.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. Then the thing about it is that there are some people may not have the talent, they may not have the gift to serve as an actor or what, but to the department has a capacity to be able to identify, because when it comes to filmmaking, they have different areas that one can participate. You don't have to be the actor or the actress. Okay, so can the department have the department, whether they have the responsibility, or do they have the capacity to identify that maybe the student Rose or the student Abraham, you are good in this area, and train them?
Okay,
Is
that's
that
a
what the department focus on, or I just enroll at the department and say I want to become this, and then they struggle with me?
Yeah, that's a good question. For any course in Kenyatta University, you have a curriculum. There are things that you must learn. So, at the basic level, for a degree, when you're in first year, there are units that you do to introduce you to the whole course. That's where you will know where your interest and your strengths are. That's where you'll be taught how to act, you'll be taught how to shoot, how to do camera works, how to do sound, how to do lighting. There's the technical part of it, and maybe in front of camera. That now we talk about acting, think about scoring. When I talk about scoring, there are those people who make songs or maybe instrumental for film. So at the first year, you are being introduced to everything. First year and second year. Now going to that year, now you'll start now specializing in whatever area that you feel. Oh, I'm good in shooting. Then you go to camera works. Another student may say, I'm so good in acting. So you will not maybe take so much interest in anything technical. You just focus your attention on acting, learning different ways of acting, styles, how to express emotions using tools of acting like the senses, maybe seeing, maybe hearing, and responding to this thing to bring the believability. Because acting is all about making your audience believe that whatever they're seeing is like real and it's not real.
So now, the before a child enroll at Kenyatta University to express interest in the department of film industry or filmmaking, uh, they normally come from the secondary school.
Yeah.
What is the responsibility of the secondary schools? Do they have the responsibility to identify that this child should enroll at this department because of the talent?
Yeah, when you talk about secondary school in Kenya, we usually have some competition. Even some secondary school offer arts as a course. We usually have drama competitions. So students who do very well in those drama festivals, music festivals, they very well fit in the degree to do with filmmaking. So nowadays, when a student wants to join the for a degree, they usually have some questions. Did you attend this? Did you practice this in your secondary school? How did you do it? So you don't just come. You have to have something that will make you outstanding when you join that
Now, these
area.
students, the only requirement that I understood to enroll at Kenyatta University, you should have a passing grade in the national exam.
Yeah.
Now, I've half a passing grade in the national exam.
For any degree, you need to have a minimum of C plus. Nowadays, it used to be uh, maybe, yeah, that has been
So,
the C plus.
are those, the grades determine the university you enroll? Does the grade determine the university?
If you
Or
have a
the
C plus,
department or the school?
if you have a C plus, you can go to any university and do your degree. Yeah.
So, it will not be written. Now, you send an email as a student that you obtain this grade. You
Mhm.
cannot enroll at any university.
For which
Or,
course? For which
for
course? For
example,
film.
yeah, for film, or maybe I want to go to the school of education.
Yeah, if you want to go to the School of Education, of course, what I mean, for a degree, you need to have a minimum grade of C plus.
Okay.
Then you can decide now, I want to go to film, I want to go to education, business. But now, when you want to go to those places, there are those subjects that you might have passed very well.
What I'm trying to draw for our consideration here is that if I want, how do I have the right as a secondary school? Who make the decision for me? Am I the student, the teacher, school administrator, or national government to say that you, because you had the 844 curriculum, now you have the CBC,
Yeah.
and the CBC has the responsibility to identify talent. What a recommendation can be made from the school administrator, from the teacher, the school administrator, and school administrator submit to a university that this child we identify this is so talent in the child, so they have to either attend the school of education or the school of creative art where you lecture.
Okay,
How
so
does it work?
we usually encourage the student to choose the course. because there are times when maybe your parent or your teacher chooses
So who has more influence on the selection of the
is the
uniform?
student.
The student, not the
Is the
parent,
student. Yeah,
not the school administrator, not national government.
is the student first. But now from your school, they might say maybe a recommendation, not a recommendation. When you are having your leaving certificate for secondary school, they usually write. Like for me, I was a school captain. It was written that this student was served as a games captain, and now he can work so well in anything field work related. So the same way, if the student was so good in acting, drama, music, it will still be written there as a something as an advantage for students to join anything that is creative.
Now, you all learn that the school of medicine is 6 years, the school of engineering is 5 years. All of schools, especially for degree program, they are 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I have like maybe what is written on
Mhm.
my paper, and now I want to attend the school of pharmacy or medicine, do does the university enroll me? Even if I have a C plus,
Okay.
it
If
is
you,
a great requirement to enroll at certain school.
yeah,
To say if I have a C plus, can a C plus student in national exam enroll at the school of medicine?
I would say for any degree, if you have a C plus, you can go to any course that you choose. But
Meaning
there are subject
I
there are
can attend
subjects
the school of medicine if
there
I
are
have a C
subjects that
plus.
there are subjects that you must have passed to a certain level. You will go for medicine and they ask you for biology, you need to have not less than a C plus or maybe a B or A, whatever they have said. But for the minimum grade
I
is
thought
C
it's the
plus.
Irish grade we are talking about, like
Yeah,
C plus, the Irish grade.
yeah, yeah. But for other, there are some courses that will need you to be so good in specific subjects. If it's biology, if it's physics, depending on the course. But for those department like education, you cannot say you want to do maths and you didn't pass so well, or you want to do geography and you didn't do it when you are undergraduate. So those are now the criteria that varies. But for any degree, C plus, the government will even sponsor you.
What is your experience so far when it comes to Kenyatta University education system? How can you grade it? What are some of the advantages?
That's a very important question. And I would first say that our education system is the best. In Kenya, Kenyatta University is ranked the second.
You say the best and it ranks second at this very in the same country, Kenya.
That's
Kenyatta
I
University
wanted
ranks second
to explain
in
that.
Kenya and 23rd in Africa. But you
Mhm.
are claiming that it is the best.
Yeah, because the reason I'm saying it's the best, we usually give our it is maybe a son or a daughter for University of Nairobi. So that's why University of Nairobi is always ranked the best.
Now, if University of Nairobi is ranked the best, I read in the news 2 weeks ago, the vice chancellor of the University of Nairobi is rejecting students for the who have successfully completed the CBC curriculum. His claim is that the University of Nairobi hasn't developed or established a full capacity to enroll such students. And you are claiming they are the number one according to the ranking. Why?
Okay, I think
Saying Kenyatta University now has a capacity to train teachers in the full implementation of the CBC curriculum. Why are they not the number one in the field of education?
I wanted to say that the fact that University of Nairobi is ranked the best, it doesn't mean that whatever happens there is so different from whatever happens in Kenyatta University. Actually,
Okay.
for the matter of fact, Kenyatta University has been the best when it comes to education degrees.
Okay.
It,
Also, in
it,
education, Kenyatta University
yeah,
is the best.
it was a branch of University of Nairobi for education. It was transferred to Kenyatta University before it became a whole
University.
university. Yeah.
Okay.
So all the teachers were being taught in Kenyatta University. That's why I'm saying when it comes to education, it's the best. Maybe for other courses, UON performs very well because it's also a big university like Kenyatta University,
So what's the
and it's the
capacity,
oldest.
the enrollment capacity? The University of Nairobi has more students, more than Kenyatta University, or Kenyatta University have more students from the university?
That varies maybe from year to year. There are times when we have so many students, There are times when University of Nairobi has many students, so that will work. You can maybe consult the statistics.
Now I'm here at the Kenyatta University, and I can see the campus is very large, huge campus. Is that the same for the University of Nairobi?
It's also large, yeah, as well, but Kenyatta University is bigger.
Okay, so now the Kenyatta University, I saw that they have main campus where I am. And so how many campuses?
We had six before, but one of them was closed. Now we have five branches. We have Mombasa, Kitui, Embu, Nakuru, City Campus.
Okay, that's the expansion of the university.
Yeah.
Okay, then that's good. But then the question is that what can you tell people? What are some of those areas you think you can identify as a strength of Kenyatta University?
Oh, thank you for that. I would say first, Kenyatta University has one of the most lucrative education system in Africa. And this is from I had this from a professor of mine who is also my supervisor. He said that there are places you can go abroad and you find that having done a certain degree, you are told to do another crash course, maybe to certify that whatever you learned in your country, it's maybe to a certain level or acceptable. But when you come from Kenya and you go to another country, like maybe any country abroad, and you have done this degree, you will just proceed. So our education is very rigorous because a student is introduced to critical thinking at a very early age. So whatever you master it very well, and there's no room for maybe the student tried. If you didn't get it right, you're wrong. You need to be accurate. So I would say our education system is one of the best, and we have supplied different lecturers in so many countries in Africa.
Last week, the World Health Organization agreed to, there's a demand for Kenya, and Kenya was elected among the first six countries in Africa that they want to supply, the COVID vaccine machine so that Kenya can start producing its own COVID vaccine.
Mhm.
Why do you think they think that direction to even qualify Kenya? They say Kenya has all of the technological, advantage to produce our own COVID vaccine.
Yeah, like I've said, our education system is very uh, maybe it works well. We don't just do things for the sake of doing them. You have to make sure that accuracy is one of the things. So our students, those maybe works under the medicine and engineering, they are so good in whatever they do. When it comes to research, even you are in the main campus, you have seen different buildings supporting innovation and research. So research is one of the things that are done very well in Kenyatta University. So that makes the university qualified to be selected. So it was not like, oh, Kenya, or no.
I was shocked when I saw the hospital, just the hospital itself at Kenyatta University. I'm sorry to say that the hospital is almost compared to my national hospital in my country. So I said, wow. So many research are done at the hospital, right?
Yeah,
And this Kenyatta University also have a funeral home.
yeah,
I
yeah,
see about the
yeah.
morning library. So do these students who are doing biological, do they go to the funeral home to do some autopsy and all of that?
Yeah. They usually use whatever resources we have in Kenyatta University, and at times they usually go even outside Kenyatta University just for the balance. You cannot only have whatever you have. You need to go outside and explore more for comparison and maybe exploration. Yeah.
Okay, now the thing about I was wondering on the CBC and the 844 curriculum. The 844 curriculum made over 30 years, yeah, in Kenya. What prompted now for a change that they have introduced the CBC? Do you think the 844 was a failure?
I don't think that way because I'm a product of 844 myself. And if it was a failure, then I could not be here. So change is constant. We
Okay.
can, and that is universal.
Okay.
Anywhere you go, changes will always come, and they
Okay.
usually come with some advantages. And for the adaptation, at times it's a challenge. So I would not say that it was a failure. It is just a change that has been observed to improve the lives of the young young girls and boys that are born in Kenya, and to see what it can maybe do to them, because we find that one of the major importance of this CBC, its ability to ensure that students now can work on their talents, because this is one thing that has been left out for a long time, because for the 844 you need to be so much acquainted with knowledge of books.
Okay.
Leave your talent, even if you have a talent, if you don't have that books knowledge, at
Okay.
times it may be a challenge. But you'll find for the CBC, it is trying now to balance
Okay.
where your area of interest or strength is, then you can move with that channel up to the end without maybe worrying, I don't understand this when it comes to books. So it doesn't work like that. So that's an improvement, and it's going to help so many people. In Kenya, we have so many talents. If you look at statistics, you can see athletics, we are so good. Actually, one of the fastest, not the fastest man, the one of the
No,
fast,
the electric.
yeah, athletics.
Okay.
Yeah, we have Kenyan up there on top.
Yeah. So now, even though Kenya was banned by FIFA yesterday on the BBC for not to participate in sport, but it's another thing that we'll have to have another conversation about another day. Now, on the education, Kenya has over 50 million, huh, population.
Okay.
How are they managing to get the people educated? Like they just Nairobi City alone have over 5 million population people living in just Nairobi City or Nairobi County itself. It's almost like my whole country that is struggling to get people educated. What are some of the mechanisms that the government of Kenya had done that make that over 50 million people they are getting educated?
Okay, that question is very important, and I would like to salute my government because they have done so much from uh, the the reign of our second president. Oh, that president, President Kibaki,
Yeah, Mwaki
he
Baki.
introduced a system where primary education is free, and that made so many students to start going to school, because there are so many parents who cannot pay for their fee for the students. So it has continued like that, and the government is still trying so much to ensure that every child has to go to school, to a point that our current CS, the minister who is maybe controlling education right now, he is saying that a parent can be arrested if he does not take the child to school. So we are still trying to ensure that every child has gone to school, especially in places where the government schools are available, because there are places where there are no schools, and if they are there, like there are places where we have drought, we have some disasters, unless those places or the other places where the school is there, the education system is being implemented by the government, and that's an initiative that the government has taken very seriously and is still trying to ensure that every student, and that's one of the advantages that you find so many Kenyans are very creative, because education it has its power. Education knowledge is power. So it's all credit goes to the government.
Yeah, now the thing about it, I was wondering, is that the CBC has been introduced,
Yeah.
and the University of Nairobi does not have the capacity right now for the full implementation of the CBC in terms of training teachers. Does the University of Kenyatta University has a capacity to train over the 10,000 plus teachers or
uh,
1 million plus teachers?
I think I would answer that with so much subjectivity, because it's a new thing,
Okay,
and there are those teachers who are very old, even they cannot come back to learn again.
okay,
So there is a little challenge there, and the university is now trying to start from those students who are joining to do the education right now. They will be trained under now the new curriculum for CBC. But those who have been there, most of them will join and learn some of the new things to adapt. But it's still a challenge, and you are trying to adapt. Like I said, change will come with so many advantages and disadvantages. But in future, it's something that will come and maybe runs smoothly.
Factoring in the CBC curriculum, parents are stakeholders. They should play a major role in getting
Yeah,
a child or children educated.
yeah.
Now, why some parents are rejecting the CBC?
I would say again, I will answer this with so much subjectivity. There are those parents who don't stay at home like for so long. Those
Okay,
who work like doctors, engineers, people who move
okay,
around, and there are those who like wake up. Yeah, a parent will wake up, go for work, then come back. The
okay,
child is back, then they can play around. So those parents that do not interact like freely with their children because of different things, they might have a challenge, and they will have to incur a certain cost to ensure that the student does whatever the teacher says. So to adapt that is still a challenge, but it's something that is selective again. If you truly need sometimes to spend with your child, you can. That's not, no one has to force you to do that. And if you can't, then you can do something about it.
so you think the CBC curriculum have been a curriculum for some people, on the students, or have been something that proper assessment was done before the introduction of it? Or do you think that someone somewhere is seated within the Ministry of Education trying to score some political gain to say this is my legacy when I was a minister or when I served in this position?
I would not agree to that, and I would say it is something that has been talked about over and over again, that there'll be a change in terms of our education system because it limits some things. Like I was talking about the talents,
Okay,
yeah, where you find you have to work so much on your books. If you had a talent, then you have to let it fast hold. And it would be very important if you can work with both of them. You can move very, very far. And there are so many advantages that will come in to a student who is talented uh, vis-a-vis the student who is just good in books. Because being good in books doesn't mean that you're good in everything. Yeah, so the CBC, which is a curriculum that I support, it is going to improve the lives of those students who are talented, who can multitask, and those students who are not so good in books but in other things like talents and leadership and stuff, they are good. So I would say uh, assessment were assessments were done, and it was seen that this will be improved when you compare it with the 844. So I vote for it, and I would say anyone who's saying it's politics, maybe they are just trying to struggle with adaptation of that change. But the system itself has nothing wrong. Yeah.
what are some of what are those things that have attracted many foreigners into Kenya to study?
First of all, like I've said, our education system is ranked amongst the best when it comes to the university we have in Africa. So that means uh, it's not a regret. You don't come here, spend your dollars and years, and then when you go back, you need to struggle. No, you come here, do your stuff, you pass your exams. When you go back to your country, you start applying what you learned, and of course, you will get a job. You can even get a job here in Kenya if you do well in whatever you do. So I would say that is one thing. Again, we have resources. Yeah, if you want to do your medicine, we have good university, good hospitals that you can practice. If you want to do your engineering, we have companies that you can go and do that. If you want to do education, we have resources. Is also another thing, because you cannot go to learn something somewhere and there are no resources to practice that thing. The theory is not always sufficient. You need the practical bit of it. So resources, and again, some of our government sponsored stuff. We have so many scholarships that we have in Kenya that even include other other countries that comes from other countries, they can post you in Kenya. And we have international connections. So it's one of the things that attracts so many students to come in Kenya. And our cultures, we have so much interesting cultures. You come here, you know how to speak our Swahili, you know the type of foods that we do, the type of businesses that we do that you can go and apply in your country. So those are just nitty gritties, but Kenyan cultures are so good. I'm happy that I was born a Kenyan.
If you just joining us, I want to say thank you. We have our guest here today. Our guest is Congressman Paul. We're going to take a short break and be right back. Never stop learning because life never stop teaching. Welcome to Focus on Education on KG Flash with me, Ambassador Jimmy Josh. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Nairobi, Kenyatta, and from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monrovia, Liberia town. This program looks into the comparative analysis and appreciation of the education systems of Liberia, Kenya, Africa, and the rest of the world with my everyday guests. Welcome back. My guest today again is Congressman Paul. He's the head for postgraduate student at Kenyatta University. Welcome. Okay.
Thank you so much and forgive my voice. I had a little cold, but I hope you can forgive me for that. I hope
Yeah.
you don't get the cold.
So you being a congressman, yeah, at Kenyatta University for postgraduate, and postgraduate comprises of both international student and Kenyan. How are you rationing your leadership and your life, yeah, your experience as student at Kenyatta University?
Okay, thank you so much. Being a leader, I would say first it's servanthood. I've been a leader even when I was an undergraduate. I used to represent my faculty in the Kenyatta University Student Council, and that gave me a good experience on how to work with the administration, how to work with the students, helping them to achieve some of the things that they might have challenges in. So when I came back to do my masters, I also got a point to vie, and I, of course, I'm saying it's not my first time. I've been a leader even in my primary school, high school. Every time I'm in my final year, I usually become a leader. The same way, right now I'm in my final year, I'm a leader. Maybe I don't know about the nationality. So leadership is just understanding to balance between the subjects and the people that you are, maybe your seniors. Now my seniors right now is the administration. My work is to go to the administration and tell them, my subjects, the students are experiencing these challenges. How can we help them? They need this. You need to come in a very understandable way, because I have come to understand that being a leader doesn't mean you have to be very shouting all the time. You are the one trying to maybe show that you can do this, you can do that. No, the leader is not the one who shouts the loudest or the one who is very quiet. It's the one who can influence the people that he's leading in the positive way, making them to progress. And that has been my slogan since the time I knew I could lead. And I would say my experiences now for the postgraduates, I had to do a research. What are some of the challenges that affect postgraduates? And I had to put that in my manifesto. I came to understand that postgraduates experience challenges to do with their defenses, mental health, because you're just alone. At times, you don't have money to do your research funds. You don't have money for your to complete your fees, and there are so many places that you can be sent by the university or maybe other stakeholders that can help you move a step, maybe even to apply for a scholarship. Information is lacking. That's something I also found out. There are so many students who are uninformed. You don't know places you can go and get something that can help you. So my job is to get information, share with them relevant information, and always be available to them, especially the international student. Right now, I'm living with them because as an international student in a foreign country, you may find that you are not struggling to understand some things. So as a leader, I'm here to explain to you some of the challenges that you might maybe experience and tell you you can do this. If I don't know, of course, as a leader, you need to be honest. You don't have to just speak for the sake of speaking. I would guide you maybe to see another person who is acquainted with whatever you want to know. So I think I've answered your question right.
So now the thing now is how can you blend the Kenyan culture to that of the entire African culture in terms of education, culture and education?
Okay, so in Kenya,
And I know you're coming to praise your culture.
that's a very broad area. Your question can be a study on its own, or a research, or a documentary. You find that our education is very straightforward, but you find that some cultures affect the education. There are some communities that made the child, when he or she reaches to a certain age, maybe they are married off, maybe they are being told that now these are your chores, you don't supposed to go to school, the education is useless. So there are cultures, there are communities that don't uphold education so much, but I think the government, they are trying to ensure that every child goes to school, whether you're from what community or what community, you have to go to school. Then later, once you are educated, if you want to do your stuff, go on. But some cultures really interfere with education, especially those that still uphold traditions, which is not a bad thing. Traditions are the ones that keeps us, the tradition is the one that keeps us knowing where we came from. So unless it interferes with education, our government has no problem with that. But those traditions that affect education, like FGM, where a lady goes to get circumcised, then from there they are married off to an elder person. You know, when a child is married off, she cannot continue the education. And maybe that's the person who could have been the doctor to treat maybe someone's son, with a teacher to teach, to instill knowledge to someone. So,
So is the government putting some radical means into place to eradicate some of those practices that can undermine national development?
there are so many restrictions. Actually, nowadays, they have even arrested people who were doing those practices. There are some advocacy maybe groups that come in to advocate that every child has to go to school, and those maybe practices that make the student not to go to school, they want us to just let go.
So it means the issue of human rights is not the area of focus.
Exactly. We are working hand in hand with that, and then you have heard of the 17, the code 17 what for UN developmental,
The human rights,
yeah,
the code of the
development.
United Nations.
Yeah. So the government is working hand in hand with that to ensure that,
Regarding the UNESCO on education, they factor in national development, national unity.
yeah, that's
They
something that,
also factor in human rights.
yeah, I think you have done a good research about some of these things, and you are right. Our government is working hand in hand with
So is Kenya an open society that I do what I want to do?
that. Of course, not. There are things that are regulated by the United Nations, and you cannot decide to do anything without any good reason, because you heard of our 2017 election, 2007 election, when there were so many clashes and people died, people were displaced, and it's something that changed the Kenyan government. And some of our leaders were taken to Hague, and that shows that we cannot just do what we want. Yeah, we are not that independent to do just anything that we want. No country, even your country, you have some regulations.
So, international students are under your belt. What are some other complaints in terms of the interactions? How are they coping with campus life, the food,
Mhm.
the weather,
Okay, one of the most
the
interesting,
language barrier, the Kiswahili?
yeah, I think that was what I wanted to talk about. One of the most interesting things they are complaining about is language. How do you communicate to Kenyans? And I'm like, you guys, because you have an accent from your country, try to speak slowly. If they
No,
say,
we speak series. We are from the America. We speak
yeah,
series.
those of you from Anglophone countries, you're speaking in a way that at times you're like, someone has to listen clearly. And thank God for me, I have maybe adapted. Now
Yeah.
you don't have to repeat. I keep asking what. But if you talk to anyone around, maybe for the first time, they're like, "Is this guy speaking in English?" So just something that you can adapt. If someone is not acquainted with your accent, just speak to them in a very slow manner so that they can understand word for word. Then when they get used to you, then you continue. The other thing is some of them don't understand how to trust this Kenyan, especially the those short interactions. Yeah, they are like, I found this friend of mine. He or she is like this. Should I trust them? They're telling me this, and I'm like, that's subjective. I don't know the person, so you just move things slowly. So, but I'm so happy with international students. They're outspoken, they're outgoing, and that even makes them outstanding. Because when you go somewhere, you're different, and then you are participating.
Do
You
you
can
think the
communicate.
ordinary Kenyan, when I say ordinary, I talk about maybe campus life, those undergrads, do you think they value the language, our language, the international student language? Do you think they value interaction?
Yeah, I would say that because for me, first time when I
Do
came
you
to,
think Kenyans are socialists? Do you think they socialize well with foreigners?
yeah, so much. Actually, maybe it's you who are getting scared. The international student to interact with them, they would really laugh so much. Like in Kenya, we like new. If you have been following up about our music, our films, we usually adapt so much.
Okay,
Watch something there, the next thing I create something using the same formula but using my own story.
okay.
So you might find them speaking to you today. The next time they'll be speaking like you to another guy. Like, I met this guy and like we like that adapting and applying that very fast.
I don't like to talk about this, but a few months from now, Kenya will go for national election
Yeah.
in August. Do you think the result of the election may positively or negatively affect the education system in this country?
Okay. For that one, we are praying hard to God that this time, this is one of the election that has so many speculations because of the two parties that are maybe um, fighting for the seat, and we are praying that whatever party wins, let it win with a very good margin because one party thinks that they have the government support or the state support. The other party thinks that they have the mass, they have the mass. So there are so many speculation about that. Whether is it going to accept? Is it going to accept? But there are some. They have already promised that whatever will come, they are going to follow. So I would say if everything goes well, like we all expect, then our
Is
education will still
now
continue the same.
the two party you are talking about right now, like basically the CBC curriculum. Is there any one of those party opposing the CBC or one is in support of it? The reason I ask is that the decision will be made by the people of Kenya will either continue with the CBC curriculum or they may go back to the 844. That's my concern in education.
I
Or
would
the
say
two parties are into the competition support the CBC curriculum.
one of the members of a certain party was was quoted saying that if they get into the office, they will go back to the 844 system.
Okay.
And of
The
course, now
system that you appreciated because you were school in it, right?
I'm a product of 844.
Okay.
But I think when it comes to politics, some people, in politics, you just say anything at times.
Okay.
So I will not say that with so much conviction that it's a must.
Okay.
And it's not, again, easy, because those students who have started with the CBC, will they go back to maybe class 1 or start again to accommodate it for 4? That's something that is not feasible, like pragmatically. So it's just, I would say it's just politics.
Kenyatta University, what are some of the areas you think that you can recommend to the national leadership, to the schools administrators, that they can improve on? Because there must be a weakness in this space.
Yeah, first of all, a weakness I would say is that they should ensure that the students feel accommodated in terms of, right now they're working, they're teaching them online, which is something it's the students are adapted. But some students are complaining. What I mean is that there are things that students are still adapting. So I would say for the government on the institution, they should try to ensure that the student can adapt the new in a very easy way, because there are those students who don't have the gadgets to effectively learn online. There are those who don't have internet, and there are those courses that cannot allow that. If your course is so much practical, then online sometimes may not work so well. But I would say it's something that is working so well. It's only that for some students, because I'm a student leader, I have had some of the challenges that students are talking about. They feel like it's not uh, it's not still time for them to adapt that, like that fast. It was a process that was supposed to go slowly by slowly. If you're having online today, tomorrow let us have a face to face. If you're having, and it's something that the administration is now looking forward to. So I would like to thank the administration again, because whenever a challenge is pointed out, they usually listen and try to work on it. The other thing for the government is to ensure that the money that is supposed to come to the university comes in on time. Again, for those government sponsor students for help, we have a help. It's a government body that supports students with money. So that money should come on time, so that the students are not frustrated, because if you don't know whether you have your fee, of course you cannot concentrate. So that's one thing I would ask the government to ensure, that anything to do with students in terms of money, you should not stress the student, because if you know you will not do the exam, why do you even concentrate of attending classes? So that's something that I would recommend. Lastly, for the lecturers, we expect the lecturers to continue their good work, and the government also to ensure that they pay them on time, so that they feel motivated. I'm not saying that they are not paid on time, but there are those who are part time. Those who are working part time, at times their money takes long, and they feel like some of them even can give up. If that's the only way you get money, then it will take you like 1 year or more, or maybe some months before you get paid. Of course, it can maybe dishearten you. So that's one thing I would ask the government to, anything to do with money, let the money be sent to the school at the right time, so that the everything will run smoothly. Other than that, I would thank the administration, because the university has attracted so many investors, so many international students, yeah, and so many international connections. We also recommend the government to continue networking, so that we can get so many scholarships. A student from here can go to Ghana, can go to Poland, and represent Kenya. Yeah, that's some of the recommendations I would give.
I was told that the KUCC building were used before for postgraduate students. Why
Yeah,
have it, why were it changed now to the old result?
of course, you understand KUCC is a hotel.
Okay, it
It's
is
an
now.
asset that adds some revenue to the university.
Okay.
So
So it means that there was no way that the international students were adding revenue to in terms of accommodation fees for the university.
I would not so much talk about that because that's another system. So what I would say is that KUCC is an asset that adds university,
Okay.
and it's something that is being booked even by other
Okay. Which
non-institutional
is good.
and
Which is good.
organizational.
Very good. It's a good idea. And what I was thinking on is that have you heard anything in the Puebla? Yeah, there are some dilapidated structure here at the KU campus. Like, oh, there will be a budget for the full renovation of the Kenyatta University.
Yeah,
There are
that's
some
something.
structures here that are very dilapidated, damaged. Like for
Yeah.
example, I saw a structure at the back, that got caught by fire or something else. Is the university planning to renovate the entire campus?
Okay, those
There are
are
some areas there are potholes, some areas they cement for foot, walking path.
okay. Those are some of the internal matters that happens everywhere, even in your country. I don't think everywhere is like perfect, and there is always that change that comes over time. And again, as a student and a student leader, I may not have so much say about that, but I think the administration is aware. We have a building that got burned, maybe because of a certain reason, and
The
in due
leadership of
time.
vice chancellor at this Kenyatta University, it is political, meaning the president of the country has a right to appoint the vice chancellor of this university. If yes, is there a time limit in terms of term to say a person can serve for 2 years, 3 years, or a new person can come and just dismiss and appoint another person? How
I would
does it work?
I would answer the second part about politics. I don't think I have the right to talk about that. But when it comes to term, of course, there is a term that you're supposed to serve. Then after that term
Okay,
is over, then you take your time.
okay, another person come and serve.
Yeah,
That's how it works.
yeah.
That's good. All right. Thank you so much for talking to us. You got any final thing to say that I didn't mention?
I would like to say whatever you're doing is very amazing, and keep moving on because some of this information that we are talking right now, we are going to be listening to them in future, and even the world can learn something from it.
Sure.
So keep your good work, and I wish you the best. And I can't wait to see your next video. And I also encourage those of you who are watching Jimmy George videos on his TV. Keep watching, share, subscribe, like, and enjoy. And always comment if you want someone to be interviewed, if you want him to talk about a certain thing. Yeah, always comment and support the guy. So thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Never stop learning because left never stop teaching. Welcome to Focus on Education on KG Flash with me, Ambassador Jimmy Josh. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Nairobi, Kenyatta, and from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monrovia, Liberia town. This program looks into the comparative analysis and appreciation of the education systems of Liberia, Kenya, Africa, and the rest of the world with my everyday basis.